Do you feel sad, lonely, anxious, or burnt out? You're not alone in experiencing these emotions. They've become all too common in what some describe as a mental health crisis. However, this crisis isn't just an individual struggle. It's a reflection of something profoundly wrong in our society, a troubling undercurrent that has been brewing for too many decades. In this video, we're delving deep into one of the factors contributing to the growing despair in our modern society. Everywhere we look, there's a prevailing sense of gloom, existential doubt, and self-destructive behavior. The trend of having fewer children is on the rise, while suicide rates and deaths due to drug overdoses are alarmingly increasing. More people are becoming dependent on medication just to get through their days. If you talk to the youth, students, or pretty much anyone, it's hard to escape the glaring reality that there's a deep problem in our society. This ongoing mental health crisis is revealing a lot about how our institutions respond. Schools, colleges, and workplaces seem to have a superficial approach to this issue. They promote the idea of balancing work and life as if it were a simple fix. They recommend taking short breaks from work, prescribing medications like Zoloft, and even suggest increasing dosages. They advise using digital tools to monitor screen time, but all these measures are addressing the core issue. They're like slapping a band-aid on skin cancer. These responses serve to maintain a level of compliance and productivity, but they don't tackle the root causes of depression, anxiety, and loneliness. The problem is treated as an individual issue rather than a societal one. This approach turns what is essentially a social and political issue into a biological one. While this might seem logical on a personal level, it fails to address the broader societal implications. It's not normal for such a large number of people to experience severe depression. It's concerning that so many, especially young individuals, are heavily reliant on antidepressants. Mental health issues like depression and anxiety may manifest in the brain, but their roots lie in the social and spiritual realms of our lives. The widespread nature of these issues in our society points to something fundamentally wrong. For a long time, the sense of community in the United States was incredibly strong. Looking back a century, communities were bustling with life and activity. American towns and cities were full of vibrant social circles, with various clubs, unions, religious groups, and community events. People knew their neighbors and were deeply involved in local activities. This sense of belonging and community was a crucial part of their lives, providing meaning, relationships, and a sense of value. There are many reasons why this sense of community began to wither. One of them is economics. Money. Money is the silent orchestrator of our lives. Money, in its essence, is a tool to facilitate trade and cooperation. It is the gravity that connects every individual participating in an economy. Money works best when it is very hard to make. Many things have been used for money over the centuries, but the clear global winner has been gold. From the very beginning, the United States based its currency on gold, allowing its citizens to reliably save and transact in the US dollar. Having sound money and a reliable currency to trade with allows people to thrive. Having a normal, steady job allows you to live comfortably and save enough to retire happy. The problem began when the gold standard was broken and money became very easy to make. Easy money is a plague to society. It creates two kinds of people in the world, those that have to work for money and those that don't. The people who create money can steal the purchasing power of people who work for money. And since money is the medium in which we connect with people that we've never met and often don't trust, having a theft in money leads to an increasing distrust among members in a society. The impact of easy money became this unmeasurable, invisible, and mystifying force, a force that is draining the wealth from the middle class and transferring it to the hands of the governments and the ultra-wealthy elite. Let's explore the generation where easy money started, the baby boomers. The baby boomers grew up during a time when industries exploded. With new industry came more jobs and a cheap abundance of housing. The UK and the US economies were growing at a breathtaking rate, and every man, woman, and child was to benefit in some way from this innovation. In 1971, Nixon took the world off the last remaining attempt at a gold standard, which led to a wave of inflation. During this huge surge in both demand and inflation, housing was affordable, but over the next 50 years, housing became increasingly expensive. Many boomers made worthy investments in real estate early on. Their housing was their number one asset, their life savings account, their unique form of hard, sound money. However, by the 1990s, this social landscape began to deteriorate. The effects of easy money began to take a toll on the economy, and people started to be left behind. The effects of this shift accelerated over time and caused communal institutions and human bonds to start to weaken. Church attendance declined, local clubs shut down, and even family structures started to crumble. The fabric of community life was coming undone, leading to a more isolated and inward-looking society. People became less familiar with their neighbors and less involved in community events, indicating a shift to solitary activities. This decline in organic communities profoundly affected the following decades of American life. People lost the support, comfort, and stability they once had, as well as friendships and love. Suspicion towards others grew, and life became more self-centered and competitive. The focus shifted to individual success, often at the expense of others, with money becoming a primary concern. Consequently, life didn't improve but became more challenging. People worked longer hours for less pay, and the costs of education, healthcare, and home ownership rose. The support systems of previous generations diminished, leading to fewer friendships and a lack of community. Life became harder, more isolated, and less forgiving, with even successful people experiencing unhappiness, depression, and anxiety. Young people entering this world were the most affected. Identity became a consumer choice, and in the age of the internet, people found solace in alternate realities, leading to the rise of cults, extremism, and scams. Social media, designed to addict and isolate, became central to social interaction, replacing genuine human connection. Elderly people, once revered for their wisdom, were increasingly seen as burdens and faced extreme loneliness and high suicide rates. This cold, empty world led to an increase in antidepressant use, drug overdoses, and suicidal tendencies. These are symptoms of a society where market values have overtaken human connection and community. Traditional forms of solidarity that once gave life meaning have been eroded, reducing human experience to mere statistics and monetary values. This society fails to meet basic human needs for community and connection, leaving people isolated and exploited in a market-driven world. Now for a quick second, let us do a mini thought experiment. Imagine you are Forrest Gump. You start on the East Coast and you begin running to the West Coast. 3,000 miles, an impressive feat that brings you massive fame. This takes you 3 years, 2 months, 14 days, and 16 hours. Your son, Forrest Gump Jr., decides to follow in your footsteps and also run coast to coast. When he becomes an adult, he sets off running bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. What Junior doesn't understand is that because of distance inflation over time, the West Coast is now 9,000 miles away. To achieve the same goal, Junior must run 3 times farther than you did. When Junior gets to the 3,000-mile marker, he realizes it took him so long that the West Coast is now 10,000 miles away, even farther than when he started. No matter how fast Junior tries to run, it still seems that distance inflation is outpacing his steps. His body is spent, his muscles have degraded, and he's too weak to continue. What does this example teach us? Those of us who have a hard time accepting our road to success is steeper and longer than our parents are becoming increasingly depressed. What could cause such a tragic fraying of the fabric of our civilization? How could our culture be trending towards a more divided, fractured, and increasingly desperate society? Well, the answer is not simple. There are countless ways in which history has unfolded for thousands of years that have led us to our current situation. While there are many nuanced factors, our evolving relationship with money cannot be discounted as a significant factor. The pathway to earning a living is no longer a straight walk to the finish line. The fact that we live a lifetime of uncertainty is making us sad. A lack of pay is leading us to work multiple jobs, leaving us with less time to spend with friends and family. If you get a raise for less than the pace of inflation, you are slowly getting poorer and poorer. Inflation in the US reached 9.1% in 2022. That means food, gas, heat, energy, and housing increased noticeably for everyone. Did you get a 9.1% raise last year? Furthermore, the money supply has increased by more than 40% since COVID-19 and will likely continue at an exponentially increasing rate. Most housing prices nearly doubled, which is great for homeowners, but for those that were close to having a down payment in 2020, they are now priced out of the market, and many are finding themselves short of spare cash to socialize, which is highly beneficial for a person's mental well-being. If you are fortunate enough to find yourself flush with money in this day and age, there is more junk to consume than ever before. Industries target their products at us, making it seem like we'd be happier if we owned their new thing. And since our money loses value, there is a direct incentive to spend it immediately. So we spend what little money we do have on the things we don't need. We all have a responsibility to make good decisions, but we also have a right to own money that doesn't steal from us. The mental struggle that the average person faces these days comes down to their worries about the future that is being stolen from their very own government. Unfortunately, our current money is flawed, and there is no fix to that system. But we now have a new system that exists beyond the reach of any human manipulation, and that is Bitcoin. Rather than trying to run faster and longer in the traditional fiat system, we now have a system that, with time, pulls you up and allows you to save in a money that can never be debased. Bitcoin is a perfect money, a money that can be held in any amount by any person in the world. It is money that is designed to appreciate with time and cannot be seized by force. It is money that allows every human on this planet a degree of control over their future that has never existed before. Bitcoin will not fix chemical imbalances in your brain, but it will fix the theft in money that is causing many people stress and anxiety about the future. To learn more about how much happier you could be by owning Bitcoin, please watch this video here. Thanks for tuning into our channel. If you enjoyed yourself, please help others find this video by liking it and subscribing to our channel for more inspirational films like this every week.